Afternoon, everybody. Welcome to webinar number 29 of the Independent Gym series. We had a little bit of a break last week, came back with Mystery Gym, so hopefully you caught up with those guys. Today's webinar is hosted by Craig McNeil of Membr. So if you're not sure who Membr are, we'll get a proper introduction from Craig shortly, but essentially they are a member management software, but they've came from, I believe, more of the personal training side and developed into the full club solution. So I'm sure they do a lot more, and Craig will give you a bit of a rundown on that one. So we were looking at the title of, originally it was how the industry's changed and are we ready, but we're talking more about community building after COVID. So it's still related. It can be an interesting subject. So as usual, we're going to record this. We'll put it up on YouTube. If you're not watching live, you can watch it back now. And if you've got any questions, drop it into the chat feature and we'll answer them either as we go or at the end. So and on that note, let's hand over to Craig and away we go.
Cheers, Rob. Thanks for having me. And yeah, it's great to share some thoughts, and in terms of what I've got kind of to run through today would be something that is what we're listening to from different parts of the fitness sector. So building communities after COVID-19 and what we've learnt from the last 12 months. Obviously, it is what it is, and things have happened. And we want to make sure that we learn from experiences, and we want to possibly reset a few things from a business level, and then that filters through down to the member experience, which is the most important part. So Membr is a fitness-focused member management system, and my role at Membr is head of digital fitness. So I'm predominantly kind of focused on the fitness part of the platform. And my background is fully fitness, non-technical. So I spent 20 years in the fitness industry. Kind of the first 10 years was kind of me building my apprenticeship and knowledge of the fitness industry, falling in love with the fitness industry on the gym floor. Loads of different roles. I get bored very quickly. So I kind of done a lot of various roles, which is great because gave me a full 360 view of the industry. And then the last 10 years I've kind of stepped back from the gym floor space and gone into education and digital. So I wanted to kind of put together a couple of talking points and some topics and some opinions and ideas from other people within the sector as well, instead of it just being Craig's opinion. I don't think that really is important. So in terms of running through the slide, I'll run through the couple of slides together. I hope it's light. I've been on a lot of calls in the last 12 months where I've been doing things in the background because people have not kept my attention. So let's see how I do. Global fitness. So whether you're an independent gym or you work in a multi-chain gym, we've all had some kind of pivot, and we love that phrase, and we've all had some kind of change where we've had to change either membership prices, we've had to change staffing, infrastructure models. But what hasn't happened until 2020 was a global fitness change where every single gym globally had to change. And that's the difference of last year, where we've had a permanent shift. Have we got a permanent shift we're going to be seeing over the next 12 months? And naturally as well, the news kind of the side of it where we're reading things and we're reading articles. There's a lot of interesting topics out there of people are not going back to our gyms. Well, I think we've proven that wasn't the case in the last few weeks in the UK especially. However, the behavior of exercise has definitely changed, and that is a good thing, because let's look at the hard facts. In the UK, we all know that 12% of the UK population have a membership. That's poor. You know, we've got many more facilities open for convenience for people. We all live within a 5 mile radius of one or more gyms, but we've never broken the ceiling of taking more people being part of a health club membership. Now, this could be our learnings. Why? Are we expecting people to walk through our doors and sign up to memberships? Well, we are, aren't we? We can take that as a hit. But in terms of what we're learning from other competitors now, which wasn't in the space 12 months ago and 2 years ago, we need to communicate with people. We need to showcase why they need to become a member within our community. So the future of fitness is health, according to a lot of other different experts, much more knowledgeable than myself. So we have a podcast channel, and this is a dirty plug, Rob, sorry mate, where we kind of have conversations with different people from education, from PT management companies to operators, and there's a really, really common theme. And the common theme is that members and the general public are looking for health improvements. They're looking after the health more. They want to have a better immune system. Their appetite for fitness is growing. And they want to live longer and happier and better lifestyles. And that's amazing to hear, because that's why we're all in this game, because we want to improve people's lifestyles, right? And we may have been taken off track a few times with transformation 6-week programs, lose 5 stone in a day, get beach body ready this summer. It doesn't matter about the next 20 years. We may have got a little bit of fragmented of our mindset because of where we are in the industry and what we're trying to sell at that time. But we've all come from the same place, that we want to make this world a healthier place. We want to push that boundary of 12% of our UK population to be in a membership. Maybe this is our time. Maybe this is the time to offer different types of memberships. And I'm very clearly kind of open to not be calling it gym memberships, because maybe that's the limiting factor. The barrier for people to come into our gyms might be the barrier. I'm not saying it is. I'm giving you that open question. Maybe it's the gym membership that people do not feel the value of spending X amount of pounds per month. But what if it was a membership much more than just access to a gym? So ActiveIQ, UK Active, we all know that these guys are all listening to the industry and looking at habits and looking at trends of what's coming over the next 12 months. So we've probably seen these bits of information before. What I've done at the bottom, interestingly, is actually put some labels across kind of areas. So remote coaching for online coaching and hybrid fitness. Again, once our gyms are shut, we have no other option to offer online. But now our clubs are back open. Is that still a service that we need, want, and should provide? Let's listen to the wants and needs from the members. Then we have health, so wearable workouts. So these are becoming more popular, and the data on these are directly to the member. Now there's an opportunity there for engagement with our staff to start talking about how you're getting on with your wearables. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Why do you wear it? What do you learn from it? Open questions, which I actually believe that some fitness professionals are scared and worried about asking those type of questions, because it's not what they've done in the last 2 or 3, 20 years. Definitely wasn't on my qualification. Exercise is medicine. Again, obviously back to the health concept. There's a pattern. There's a theme running through there. And then the one I'm going to mention a lot more on this slide is the community. Community at the base, at the core. And what we've learned, that when clubs, independent clubs, have better communities, when the gyms are ordered to shut, their members stick together much more their community really comes out, and that community then goes online because there's no open doors, and more people are more open to have that community ongoing with whatever they can get. Now the doors are back open now, the community wants to be stronger. And how do we merge those together? So over the last 12 months, if you take a thought back and reflect, maybe you've done some race nights or kind of events on Zoom where you've got a get together where you all have a Friday night quiz. Was that the first time you ever done that? Did you do that before March 2020? Because if you didn't, and I'm sure it was a success, you must continue that concept. Whether actually you have a bit of fun with it where you bring it in person. Gosh, a bit of a in-person party. I can't wait for my first one. But you can see what I'm trying to get at there. Don't rebound. Don't be an elastic band. Think about all the good things that's happened in the last 12 months and how can you keep those going? Obviously, social media. So again, I'm sure social media has been the only source of communication to your members when you've been closed. Again, we've got to keep that concept up. What learnings and what good things happened because of that extra communication? Did you learn more about what your members want and what they want from their membership? If so, keep that going. Keep getting some feedback, especially now on reopening, making sure everyone feels happy and safe. So the general thought of the theme there would be customer focused. Means that then we can create a focus for our company and place your gym name in the company area there. Customer focus. So not every gym is the same, thankfully. Imagine if that was the case, it would be quite a boring industry to work in. We're all different for different reasons. Know why you're different. What are your customers? Who are your customers? And what drives them to stay having a membership with you? Maybe you have a membership customer base who don't want to be online. And again, if you can validate that with your members, that means that becomes really strong in what you offer. Or likewise, if they're really into tracking and you actually have a lot of your members who do a lot of outdoor activity, well, how can you provide a value to them if you've got that information? Maybe jump on a GPS app and see whether there's lots of activity around your club or a certain area within your postcodes, and offer an outdoor activity class in that area. Pretty simple and straightforward to think about that. But that, I'm not saying go and do that for every single, but you need to know whether the customers will value that reach out. And that ultimately then provides that company focus. So then we can instill the staff to be focused on those 4 or 5 really important, value-driven membership needs. So success factors after COVID-19. I'm saying after COVID-19, I'm positive about that. We need to be convenient for people. So whether that's in location or whether that's offline, whether that's online, whether that's providing nutrition advice. Again, having access to a gym is only one part of the spoke of the wheel, not the wheel. Communication. So how much do you communicate to your members? I'm not going to mention the companies, but I've just had a quick look at my personal inbox, and it's interesting to see some digital fitness companies email me regularly. So in a month's period, I've had 4 emails from one particular digital fitness company. 4 emails in a month. Are they emailing me more than my gym are emailing me and communicating with me. They are. They may have a bigger marketing team, but nevertheless, they're communicating 4 times a month by email. Yeah, again, don't need to read the email. It's one form of communication. But in those 4 emails, they've given me 2 testimonials of how other people like me are getting results. An education email. What foods should you eat after training? What foods are the best fuel for after training? So they're trying to educate me. That was a really nice email. And then there is a direct sale email. Come and buy from us. So if you can look back at your communication in the last month, what are we communicating to our members about, and how regularly? So obviously 4 emails. I don't think they actually panned out in 1 a week, which you'd think that, but I think they peppered me for 1 week, a couple of emails, and they spread it out. And then community, the 3rd C. How are we creating a community? Online, offline, both, at different times, for different types of people, for different types of wants. So people are going back to work. We've just had a joke, Rob's back doing 20,000 miles a week. People are going back to some kind of movement. Okay, so that now means that people are going back into possibly hotel spaces. Are we learning anything over the last 12 months that we need to keep in contact with our members regularly and offer content? And if Rob's in a hotel room and we've given him the opportunity to have some kind of content from the gym that he can't visit because he's traveling, he feels part of the community, still feels part of the gym, still feels like his value is being used from his monthly dues. Maybe not. This is all in hindsight. So gym membership is more than access to your gym floor. So it would be good for us to write down, if you had a membership to your gym, what would you get for that membership? Regardless of the price per month, doesn't matter. That's not important in this concept. What do your members get from your gym membership right now? It'd be good to write those down, and maybe write those down of what they were getting most of last year when we were shut. And is it a simple case of it was 2020, and when we all grow, when we're all old and grey and bald, we will talk about 2020 being a completely random year. There was no other year like it. Or did it make us change? Make us change for the better? Learn of where we were before and actually make some really simple changes and making a gym membership more than just access to your gym floor. Okay, so changing topics slightly, and Rob and I are eager to hear any questions from you guys as well. So there is a chat box available. If you guys have got any questions, and if you're like me, like Nemo, please write them down, and then we are going to come to the Q&A at the end of the slide, which is probably 5 minutes away, not too long away. It'd be great to hear your questions or thoughts. It'd be good to kind of talk about those. So quick question, when I say creating a connected member experience, I wonder what your first thoughts are. When you see connected, what would you label that phrase with, that word with? The first time I written it on this slide was digital, online, in a mobile app. That's connected. The gym tracking my data. But we're talking about community. We're talking about your members being part of a community and being connected to you as a service. So we're not talking about any of those. we're talking about, are you connected to your members? If you had 100 members, how many of them would you know directly and have a meaningful interaction with? And how many of those 100 members would you say are in a good community where if one of them are in trouble, motivationally or on the gym floor, that someone else would be able to there to help them? Wouldn't need that trainer to be involved in every single conversation. So the center of the experience is the members themselves. So we think about what we traditionally give. So fitness programs on paper or in a mobile app, in-club exercising, that's an obvious too. We've now moved ourselves into professionals being in front of cameras. I used to teach classes in the noughties with people in front of me. Now our group exercise instructors have to have the skill set to be in front of camera as well. Reward schemes. So again, we know that what forms a habit? Rewards. So you may have a reward scheme, whether that's a direct influence of visits per month, or it's a challenge that you have in club, or it's the amount of classes that you do per month. Again, that's a common theme that has always been within fitness offerings. And then referral programs. Have you got 3 friends that you could give me contact details to, that I could give them a call and see whether they want a membership? That was pre-GDPR legislation changes, of course. But now we obviously offer referral programs. It's the best way to get new members. It's still the best way to increase our member base. So these are our 5 kind of really, really core levels of how we connect to our members. And then to layer into that, can we give nutrition advice? Have we got a YouTube channel? And have we got our own Joe Wicks who can share some recipe ideas? Have you got a pop-up in your gym that offers food? We know how big that has boomed in the last 24 months, 36 months. I see a lot of gyms now have kitchens. They outsource it, and meal prep is something that's boomed over the last 3 years. Fitness challenges. So again, the amount of clubs, amount of gyms that offer Tough Mudder entries or local 5Ks and 10Ks, which pulls into special events. So this next layer means the extra value of that membership, that connected member experience. It's not just access to your gym floor. It's making sure that there's more value that we're giving to them. So we've got 10 areas already. We're going into what I believe of too much choice. So what I'd like to say is, if you've got time and you're interested in using those 10 concepts, write them down on a piece of paper, put them down on the ground floor. And what do you offer out of those 10 right now? And what do you want to offer out of those 10? Maybe you come up with your 11th or a 12th and you replace one of them. If you've got 2, if you've got 3, and you've got a thriving, connected member experience, that is what your membership obviously thrives from. That's great. Just make sure you know that. And we've done our job today for us to just test that experience and make sure it's the right thing. Or if the last 12 months have brought something new in, like remote classes and on-demand content, excuse me, like you've never had before, March 2020, but now all of a sudden the feedback has been phenomenal. And actually the example that we give of Rob being in a hotel room, Rob will use that on-demand content, will be fantastic. It offers that fully connected member experience. And we all know that what we're trying to do with our members is drive habits, increase visit frequency, which means then they will stay longer at our gym. These 5 things are trying to do that. Exercise is medicine. Let's look after the exercise habits. If we can bring them into personal training, secondary revenue spend as well, awesome. If they've got a wearable tech outside of the club, see that as a positive, because they actually care about their well-being outside of 3 hours a week. If you think about how many hours are in a week, 24 times 7, 3 hours in a week, if that's a good exerciser, is less than 2% of a working week. That's why access to a gym floor seems always an uphill struggle to get people into that connected member experience. If they've got a wearable, go and give them some targets. You give them some targets instead of my watch beeping at me on a Monday morning telling me what my goal should be. Be in that conversation with your members. That'll be amazing. Outdoor activities. I've really enjoyed training outdoor. I don't know about you, Rob. I've really, really enjoyed training more outdoors in the last 12 months, and I will continue to do more. So again, from a gym, how can we facilitate that? Are we just supporting? Are we just aware? Are we giving advice? Or are we presenting an opportunity that you can actually come along to a group session with us? Because we know you're doing it. Do it with other members. Do it with friends. Could actually then be bring a friend. Fridays always used to be bring a friend day, didn't it? Yeah, Friday. I don't know why. Friday feeling. There's always Friday, bring a friend for free. Those days were great because we get an opportunity. I remember being an instructor in a gym, bring a friend Friday. The gym manager made sure I was on point on my shift that day. Talk to everybody, be motivated, be on the gym floor. Don't leave the gym floor. We've got lots of guests. We want to show them how good we are. Exactly the same of outdoor activities. Cool. So I'm talking a lot here, as you can tell. I find that quite natural. And what I wanted to finish with, the community is at the heart of fitness. It really is. You motivate me, I'll motivate you, and we'll all go through peaks and troughs. It's only natural. And if I know that I'm with you and you're with me, I'm more likely to achieve something. If anyone is on a GPS tracker and they are training outdoors, you will nod your head. When you're on that workout and you're feeling a little bit below par, but you know it's being tracked and you're going to have to save it and people are going to see it, just pushes to that 5%. That's the power of the community. In the classes, people work harder when they're in a class environment because I don't want to look like that person who just stops and has a breather. Power of the community. So it's again going back to basics. It's nothing that we've not heard before. It's just using the knowledge that we've hopefully learned in a positive way over the last 12 months, that we need to make sure that we are working together with that connected member experience. So that's everything I wanted to go through, Rob. I don't know about time, how that looks. Obviously, membr.com, if you guys want to reach out to us, that's where we are, and we are hopefully helping our gyms smash their members' goals.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Craig. It's really interesting, some of the stuff and the stats and things that you talk about. It always it sort of opens your eyes to the potential that we've got as an industry, I think, which is just huge, isn't it? So I've obviously made a few notes and a couple of questions as we go. If anybody's got any questions, chuck them in the chat feature as well. We'll read them out. So I'm going to go right back to the beginning. We talk about this 12%. Or I think there's numbers go around between 12 and 15% of the UK population, but that's quite a low number. And then we talk about how the future of fitness is health. I think that's such a buzzword at the moment. And in terms of, and I think it layers up in how we access the other 85%. So Guy Griffiths talks about it a lot. I know you've spoken with Guy in the past as well. It's all about these health seeker members, isn't it? There's the 12% are motivated. They're in the clubs generally with us, and they don't need that prodding to get along because they're already there. It's how do we get after those others and introduce them to the clubs? So such an important part for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And it starts from the beginning. It starts from the birth of the fitness professional. I've got some great stories that I got told that I don't look like a personal trainer. Some of them were family members, and then some of them were friends, but most of them were people, members on a gym floor. It's a great statement, and it tested my resilience, by the way. What does a personal trainer meant to look like, by the way? And what it is basically personal trainers are experts, and from a behavioral point of view, we build rapport with people like us easier than people who are not like us. So when we've got a team of staff who are fully motivated, they look amazing, they are the fittest, strongest, healthiest people on the planet, they will build relationships with members like them. So again, a little bit of taboo that we may have all looked at a fitness instructor in the past and feel that they don't look like a fitness instructor because of their size and shape and age and gender. But actually, I think this is the powerful bit, that if members are looking to become healthier and look at the health benefits, maybe we need to look at our staff and have a much diverse team who can offer advice to those different types of people. Because trust me, I have family members who joke with me, who say, I am scared to go and approach people on the gym floor. And that's fact. So actually, maybe that's the turning point of, let's look at ourselves and let's look at the staff that we have who are influence our members, and are we creating a barrier ourselves? These are all questions. It's all.
I agree, and I'm going to bring it one step before then. So my background is always membership sales, and a similar sort of perspective. Yeah. I don't look like I should work in a gym, but I signed up thousands and thousands of members over the course of my time, because they didn't want a muscle-bound lad to show them around. They just wanted somebody normal who could understand what they wanted to achieve. So just like the PT, it doesn't have to fit the stereotype mold of a PT. Same with all the other stuff. The first person they see when they walk through the door is the receptionist or membership team. Yeah. If they're that's going to help soften those barriers for people getting through the door.
Yeah, I remember learning something really, really, really strong from Neil Hoffin when we were talking on the podcast, that he was talking about A and B testing, and the amount of times he goes onto a gym's website and it's stock images of very sexy people. These sexy people aren't the audience that the gym are looking for. So already there's a turn off. There's a turn off of that member who's gone to that website, and they've made a big call to even go onto the website, and you've turned them off straight away because you've got stock images of a perceivement of what the people look like in that gym. Oh God, I don't want to go to that gym. If everyone looks like that, I'm not going there. So already we need to think about, okay, even our website and our theme on our website, is it of our members? Is it actually validating of what our members look like, and does that actually help with the target audience that we're actually looking for?
Yeah, we talk about it, label it as an avatar, don't you? Who's your avatar? Who are you going after? But then you have a certain avatar that you're targeting, but then your website reflects something completely different. It just doesn't tie together. It's good. It's true. Right then, next, you talked about the trends for the coming 12 months, and I find these always interested me, because they generally just have a sort of fluctuation each year, but this year it's been a massive swing, as we all know. First one is the hybrid and online training. How do you see that 12 months from now? where do you see the sort of the lay of the land in terms of online stuff?
Yeah, great question. I can actually see, and I hope it doesn't get to this point where it's literally a split. There's one method or the other, where again, the guys who we listened to about PT management, they had personal trainers who were very successful in the gym floor pre-March 2020, who then moved to online, and they were that successful online that they're not going back to the gym. So they're not hybrid. They've now become online coaches. They're not hybrid coaches. So not only have we got this current of hybrid coaches, personal trainers, we've also got the hybrid gyms as well. So there's like two currents essentially. So I actually see it being forked, where members will either have an online solution, an online coach, or they'll use a gym service. I really want to say, I want to see it in the next 12 months where a lot of clubs and gyms operate in that middle grey area space. But I do see it being one or the other.
And I think I'll agree for the personal training element, because I think the online training was almost growing before COVID. The rise of Instagram and all that, people were pushing online training because they could work from home, 15, 20 clients, make some good money. In the club environment, where it's more about the community and the engagement, everybody had to jump online in March last year. They just, because if you didn't, your business, you'd lose your members and so on. So everybody jumped online, and it's where that particular technology and that particular solution travels in the next 12 months, which I think is going to be really interesting. Yeah. But you may have seen it yourself, and I may be wrong, but we saw a massive increase in online provision, and as soon as gyms opened, it dropped off again. Closed, massive provision, and dropped off, and it's the drop off that's always the interesting one for me, and which clubs can maintain that solution alongside their conventional membership in a proper capacity.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
So that's going to be very interesting. That's the other one. Wearables and technology is the other thing as well. I think we always automatically think about wearables as an Apple Watch, but there's so much more to it. And the obvious one in the industry, I think we're all part of it, is the MyZone platform. And that to me is huge about community as well. So I think the growth of MyZone and those sorts of solutions is also going to help that community feel.
Yeah. And I think knowledge is important at that level as well, because data is only as good when you're able to understand it and make sense of it to the person's goals. And that's actually the sweet spot for us as gyms and fitness professionals, because however good my watch is and however good Apple are at pushing notifications to me, they don't explain anything. They don't explain that for me to reach my goal, which they don't know, by the way, I need to do X, Y, and Z. And if I don't do it, it's okay, but we need to know the consequences. There still needs to be that human interface. And that's a sweet spot about wearables and connectivity, is that if we can get the manual intervention, the manual knowledge to that person alongside that, that's amazing, because we've just added value to somebody instantly. And that's not a value of having 20 treadmills instead of 10 treadmills. we still have 20
treadmills.
We still have 20 treadmills and not 10, but we also help with making you understand about the wearable side of things and what does this mean versus that, etc. And a little bit of knowledge is dangerous. I love that phrase. A little bit of knowledge is dangerous, and a little bit of knowledge is the wearables. So the general public's knowledge is going up slightly, but it's still a little bit of knowledge that they have. They don't know all the knowledge. So I still feel like there's a sweet spot where the fitness professional and the gym can still have that space and actually add value with supporting them.
Right, the last bit for me, we talked about, and it just made me think back to my days at David Lloyd when I was was a lifeguard. This is going back 20 odd years ago. We talk about how now it's sort of about connected fitness, and the connected is the digital element. But I think to me, it's more about the connection with the team in place, the members knowing the staff and the owners and so on. I think back to David Lloyd. The only connection from outside the club that I can remember would be a running club that started from the building. But now we have in-club offerings, we have online solutions, we have the social element through the Zooms. You see gyms taking the members out for curries and stuff, and all that sort of. There's so much more now. And yes, whilst digital is awesome from a connectivity point of view, it's all about those engagements in and outside the club that the staff are doing with their members. So it's just changed massively, I think.
Yeah, and I think I love the word digital because it actually is not as big as what you think it is. So, give you an example. We used to do surveys by asking one of our teammates to stand with a clipboard at reception and ask them, and obviously when the members come through, "Hi, sorry to bother you. Have you got 2 minutes of your time before your workout just to answer some questions?" That's digitalized. That survey now is done by an email communication, and it's called an NPS score. That's digitalizing customer feedback. So we're actually all a lot more digital than what we actually think we are, and give ourselves a pat on the back, where there's some great stories about sign-ups. And did you do paper sign-ups on your DDs back in the day, Rob?
Yeah.
Like online sign-up. Like, how crazy is that?
Yeah.
So we're actually a lot more in the digital space than what we give ourselves credit for.
Mm.
So it's a funny word that people are still a little bit nervous about. And yes, we've got a digital gym. Okay, well, of course we have. We email and we communicate with NPS scores rather than the clipboard surveys. You can tell I've got a bit of pain in that. I was that guy. You can tell. I got some abuse off members sometimes.
Yeah. So kind of on a tangent here, my start of membership sales was at David Lloyd. I did the paperwork, and that was all I'd do. It would go in a file, and then 3 or 4 days later, the membership card was sent in the post. So this is where we're going back. For now, I think people basically have all their stuff on a phone by the time they get to the building for the first visit.
Amazing.
Anyway, going off on a tangent there, I think.
Yeah.
So, right, that's all I've got. So unless anybody else has got any questions, let's wrap it up there. Craig, thank you very much for hosting today. Really appreciate that. We're going to get this obviously posted onto YouTube, so if anyone wants to rewatch it, or if you're rewatching it, we hope you've enjoyed it, and tune in for next week's webinar. And we'll see you all soon, guys. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers, Rob.